in India, summer may be fast approaching, but in Samsung's world, it's still pouring smartphones. In just a span of 2 months, the company has launched a whole slew of smartphones. That includes the Samsung Galaxy S10 series, the A series, the refreshed M series, and honestly, that's quite a lot of smartphones. Well, what we have here with us is the Samsung Galaxy A30, the mid-range smartphone. Let's see how it did in our review. Alright then, let's look at the built-in design of the Samsung Galaxy A30. Now, this phone is nothing out of the ordinary given its lightweight price tag. It's got a tall form factor with rounded corners all around. The curved screen fits well around the body of the phone, making the beholder feel the borders around the screen aren't too thick. The phone's all-plastic body feels slippery in the hand unless the bundled TPU case is slapped right on. Since it's made of plastic, the rear panel of the phone sports a neat glossy finish, which gives the phone sufficient class. The rear panel is also home to a circular fingerprint scanner, which scans swiftly without missing a single read. In comparison, the more expensive Galaxy A50 comes with an in-display fingerprint scanner, but of course this one settles for the traditional circular fingerprint reader right here. The sides of the Galaxy A30 are home to the SIM card and the microSD card slot, primary and secondary mics, a 3.5mm audio jack, USB Type-C port, and a single speaker grill right here at the bottom. The power key and the volume rocker are placed next to each other and could really use some tactility. Apart from pressing one key for the other by mistake, one could also end up pressing the region between volume up and volume down in the rocker, which is also clickable for some odd reason. But nothing happens, of course, when you click the region. The display on the Samsung Galaxy A30 is the same as that on the more expensive Galaxy A50, a 6.4-inch Super AMOLED Infinity U unit with a tall aspect ratio of 19.5:9. Infinity U is Samsung's term for a curved display with a U-shaped notch on top. The tiny notch houses the selfie camera and nothing else, giving the display an overall better look than those with a wide, ugly notch on them. Ugh. From the review unit, I could tell that the colors on the Galaxy A30's display looked bright and vibrant. The screen was bright enough for use in daylight and dim enough for use in bed. Text and images on the AMOLED screen were quite legible even under direct sunlight. Samsung's software included one-handed mode, which programmatically reduced the screen size for easy reach of all the buttons. If you use your phone while riding the metro a lot, this will save your life. While YouTube videos zoomed in to fill the notched screen pretty well, some games like Ace Force could not, thereby missing out on the edge-to-edge design advantage. Still, I felt that rounding off the corners had made a positive difference to the viewing experience of the display on this phone. In summary then, the Galaxy A30's display is top-notch for its price. Audio is a bit of a weak point on the Galaxy A30. Sound from the single side-firing speaker on the phone's body is loud but tinny. Try showing your friends an EDM song and you'll observe that most of the frequencies jar on the ears, especially the lows and the mids. Then try playing something less bass heavy and you'll realize that even vocals are quite screechy. The tiny driver on the Galaxy A30 is best reserved for loud and annoying alarm tones. Get yourself a portable Bluetooth speaker if music on the go is your thing. How's the performance then? The Samsung Galaxy A30 is powered by Samsung's Exynos 7904 chipset that's built on a 14nm process. The handset ships in only one variant and that has 4GB of RAM and 64GB of internal storage. Luckily, a microSD card of up to 512GB capacity can be used in it to expand your storage. As expected, the benchmark scores of the Galaxy A30 are similar to those of the Galaxy M30, a smartphone that's powered by the same Exynos 7904 chipset. Everyday activities are handled quite well by the Exynos-powered Galaxy A30. On the review unit, I was able to browse on a dozen of open tabs on Chrome while the phone was playing music in the background and installing new apps without too much fuss. Every now and then, the animation slowed down and the phone made me wait before loading a screen fully, but at no point did the phone freeze completely. During heavy background installations or when the phone's disk activity was high basically, even commonly used elements of the phone's UI saw stutters in animation. For example, pulling the notification drawer down when the phone was downloading a game like Asphalt 8 caused visible stutters. Gaming on the Galaxy A30 review unit was a pleasing experience. There were no signs of lag while playing popular games like Asphalt 8 and PUBG Mobile, even when the graphics was set to high. According to Gamebench, the median frame rate was 26 frame rates per second while playing PUBG Mobile and 30 frame rates per second while playing Asphalt. Touch response during action sequences remained consistent and natural. The gyros inside worked as expected while playing simulation games like Ace Force. The area around the cameras heated up after about 10 minutes of gameplay, but not to a point where I became conscious of the heat on the rear panel. In summary then, the Samsung Galaxy A30 is fit enough to run modern games like PUBG Mobile as long as there's no other multitasking happening in the background. What about the software? The Samsung Galaxy A30, like all modern Samsung smartphones, runs Android 9 Pie with Samsung's refreshed One UI thrown on top of it. Despite the changes made towards a more intuitive user experience, I don't feel the new One UI on the Galaxy A30 is a big departure from the old TouchWiz. It has the same roundish app icons and rounded rectangles for every menu item, making it still look very much like a Samsung phone, which is great news for people who like it and not so great news for those who expected a big change. The size of the icons and the text on the display can be changed in the settings, just so you know. Let's talk about the camera department in the Samsung Galaxy A30. While the Samsung Galaxy A50 comes equipped with a triple camera setup, the Samsung Galaxy A30 settles for a dual camera setup on the back. The dual camera setup includes a 16 megapixel sensor with an f1.7 aperture and a 5 megapixel sensor with an f2.2 aperture. Of the two sensors, the smaller one is an ultra-wide unit. The selfie camera is a 16 megapixel sensor with an f2.0 aperture. The camera system does not support video recording in 4K resolution, but 1080p at 30 frames per second. Photos of everyday objects like cars and buildings taken in daylight come out quite well on the Galaxy A30. The same photos taken through the ultra-wide mode display slightly blander colors but with a much wider angle, and in fact you'll notice some fisheye effect happening right there on the edges. Live focus mode lets you adjust the level of blur for portrait shots even after the photo has been taken, but demands that you focus on a face first. The final output from the live focus feature is pretty good. It's hard to tell that the bokeh effect was made by software except in some rare shots. The selfie camera takes decent photos in daylight but attempts to polish or beautify faces even when the beauty level is set to minimum. There's nothing very pro about the Pro mode except that it lets you adjust white balance, exposure value and ISO. Photos taken in low light appear expectedly grainy and pixelated. Most of the time, the default camera app on the Samsung Galaxy A30 is slow to react. The image in the viewfinder freezes for half a second every time you ask the phone to switch modes or focus or take a shot. Processing live focus shots takes between 3 and 5 seconds after the image is taken. As it stands, the camera system on the Galaxy A30 is acceptable for the phone's price but suffers from low reaction speeds. What about the battery on the Galaxy A30? The 4000 mAh battery on the Samsung Galaxy A30 gives the phone about 1.5 days of life under medium to heavy use. During my time with the review unit, I played games, watched videos, and used common apps like Chrome, Hangouts, and TuneIn extensively, while navigating for 30 minutes with the brightness turned all the way up on the screen that is. The battery dropped only by 5%, which is a healthy rate of drain. Playing PUBG Mobile for about 20 minutes in high graphics settings made the phone's battery drop by about 6%, which is also a healthy rate of drain for any given phone. Charging the handset from 7% to 100% took no more than 95 minutes using the bundled 15-watt quick charger that you get with it. A long battery life is definitely one of this phone's strong suits. So yes, the Samsung Galaxy A30 has some performance issues. Every now and then animations have stutters and whatnot, but otherwise it's a fine phone, really. The screen is great, the cameras are quite decent, and you get quite a lot for the money you pay. And what you pay is 16,990 rupees. Well then, thanks for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit the like button below. Subscribe to our channel anyway. See you in the next one. Bye.
For the latest technology updates, subscribe to Digit.in and don't forget to hit the bell icon.